I mean, the some of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a spiritual journey or
Yeah. Yeah.
anything like that. It was just totally out of necessity
Yeah.
and convenience.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know that you would say that, and you sit here with your brush cut, and I got these little micro locks, and Jovonne has got her beautiful hair and her I dream of Jeannie working for us today. You know, a lot of times people will get into the debate of team natural or team relaxed. I am team convenient. Whatever works for me. Deanna, you mentioned working out. When I started my health journey, that was a battle for me. Hair or going to the gym, because it was either or, because there was no way getting the workout that I needed, that my scalp sweats tremendously. I mean, a lot. So my hair wasn't going to dry. I don't care if it was relaxed or natural. It wasn't going to dry, and I was going to have issues. So sometimes if I had and most of my clients would be in the morning or speaking engagements or traveling to a training to do a training, it would be in the morning. So even though I'm an early riser, get up at 5, I'm at the gym by 5:30, leave the gym 6:30, come home, shower, hit the road or wherever I need to be, my hair wouldn't be dry. So sometimes I have to make a choice, work out or not. And Jovonne, talk about we can get back into each one of us periodically, but what's your hair journey been like?
I'm with you as far as convenience. You know, I've heard my entire life, oh, you have such good hair. Oh, your hair is just like your daddy's, like the Wilsons. And okay, great. But it takes time to maintain it. It tangles. I break combs. I don't care how you look at it. It's very tight and hard for me to deal with. So I've chosen relaxers over the years. I'm with you, Dana, too. I've had the worst burns and everything over my lifetime. But as I became more knowledgeable, I found what worked for me. You know, so I wear my own hair. I wear, like today, this is a Velcroed ponytail.
Welcome to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, where we get VIP access into the lives of Black women, or as we like to call us here, our sister Nistas. We get to hear from some of our favorite sister Nistas as they share their worlds with us and create connections, exchange realities, ideas, and baby, we get to recognize and celebrate how powerful we really are. Our sisterhood here is real, filled with peace, wisdom, hope, love, light, and laughter. You know, the kind you can feel, the kind of encouragement that confirms we can do anything because we have, and the kind of inspiration that proves we can be even greater. This is our world, where if you ain't a Black woman, you may want to be one, or definitely get to know one. It's a Black women's world, and we welcome our sister Nista lovers too. Welcome to our queendom. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and I'm your host, TracyMac. Come on in and relax and sit with me for just a little while. Peace.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm TracyMac, your self-discovery companion, the professional peacemaker, and host of Black Women's World Podcast. That's the BWWP, baby. And I'm here today with my fabulous and my dynamic and favorite co-hosts, Deanna Hamilton and Jovonne Cookie Jones. And today we are going to be talking about something in the Black women's world that every Black woman in the world is concerned about, talks about, loves, takes time, invests in, and that is our hair. Today's episode is me, my hair, and I. Hey, Deanna. Hey, Jovonne.
Hey.
How are y'all doing?
I'm doing great, Tracy.
Uh-oh, Jovonne chimed in first, Deanna.
I see. Did you see the surprise on my face? Like,
wow. Well, listen, ladies, we have discussed this to some degree amongst ourselves, but this being a topic, I know India Ari had a song out some years ago, I Am Not My Hair. And even though I know what she means, we do not equate the sum total of our being to our hair. But yet and still, I'm not my hair, but my hair is me. Does that make sense in the scheme of things when we think about hair as Black women?
Yes, ma'am. That's the first thing we see. We have so many different textures and lengths. And, when we are amongst our friends and family and so forth, it's been such a major topic of discussion in my life from birth. What type of hair, what texture hair, the curl pattern, the color, whether it be coffee brown or ashy brown or whatever it might be. So when we just notice it, it's not that we judge each other by it. Most of us don't. Well, some of us don't. But, we have been judged by each other, but it's a huge topic.
Yeah, I think we all come from the same type in the Black community, same type of background as far as our hair is concerned. I remember, Tracy, listening to a podcast of yours as I was out walking, and I was like, you were talking about, it might have been the first one, about sitting in the chair and your mom having to press and comb and hearing the sizzle of it and the burns on the ear. I don't know of a Black woman who does not have that memory ingrained in their mind. I mean, it's like the sound, the sizzle is the soundtrack of life.
Yes. It's like that it's a rite of passage until you say, and then if you're of a certain age, let's say if you're over 40 and over, and you're either familiar with Bergamot, Royal Crown, Oil Sheen,
Little Magic.
Yes. Straightening combs. I mean, I have had it all, in my hair. As you get older, your hair tends to thin out in some cases. But when I was younger, it was a wrestling match. And that's the episode you were talking about, Deanna. Me and my mom used to be WWE Saturday nights about my hair. We had a love-hate relationship. And it was like that for a long time because it would be a day-long practice. Back in the 70s, if you heard music when you woke up in the morning, it was time to clean up and get your hair shampooed, and get my hair shampooed. And then she'd wash it and have to detangle it and put it in a little dookie plaits, and then let it dry. And then Sunday morning was straightening time, or either late Saturday night. And yes. And if it wasn't quite dry, because those of you who are unfamiliar with that, you got the sizzle between the straightening comb and the grease. When they connected, you got that sizzle. And then she wrapped my hair in brown paper bag, strip brown. Y'all know about brown paper?
I forgot all about it. Yeah.
You already know, Tracy. We were in the same family. So,
yes.
And the brown paper bag mainly came out during Easter Mother's Day, when everybody went to church with grandma. So
yes. But they made the prettiest curls, though.
Beautiful.
I forgot all about the brown
paper bag. When you took it out, if you saw how saturated with grease,
oil,
yes.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my goodness.
But then you had sponge rollers, but each one of us have had a hair journey. And even though Jovonne is a professional hairstylist and been in the hairstyling and makeup industry and the profession for about 30 years, she's coming to us in this conversation just like the rest of us, even though she's gonna, if she chooses to, interject some experiences from her scope of work and expertise, but just regular women, because we've all had a journey. Deanna, you and I talked about your journey. Just give us some of the main highlights as to why you rocking this short do now. How'd you get here?
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I haven't always been here. My hair grows, and as a child, I had very long hair. As an adult, I always had long hair. I've experimented with different types of hairstyles, and the day that I cut my hair for the first time, it was probably in the early 2000s when I went, super short, and it was out of really necessity. I was trying to figure out a way that I could keep my workout going without having to make these major adjustments in my hair, because at that time I was in corporate America and I was doing pharmaceutical sales, and it's a very conservative look that was, required, for lack of a better word. But I still needed to look professional. It needed to be, I still needed to be neat. And, I am vain about my outer appearance. I've loosened up over the years, but it was very important to me. And as I went shorter, I thought it would get easier, with the curls and everything. But to me, that was hard. It was harder because I don't know how to do the curling iron to make it look good. And if you're going all out in a workout, your hair is drenched by the time you finished.
Yeah.
And I just experimented with, just throwing some gel in it to see what would, just slick it back. I just needed to be slicked back, something that I can just, that it would just look neat.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I ended up going natural the first time, which was kind of sort of natural because I think I was still putting some relaxer in it, just to texturize it a little bit. But it wasn't until after Daddy died, I had grown my hair out again for the show. I had long hair for the show. Now
your television show, The Great Mentors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had long hair then, and I would put sew-ins, in at that time just to make it a little fuller. But pretty much that was, the length of my hair. But after Daddy died, I went short out of rebellion because he hated when we cut our hair. So out of rebellion, I went short. I got the curls back. I could rock it. It looked nice. But then when I went to go get a perm one day, Jovonne, my scalp burned terribly. I've only had mild relaxers, but when she put that relaxer in my hair, my scalp was burning like immediately. I was like, oh, I can't stand it. We're going to have to, wash it out. So immediately she had to wash it out, and she curled it. But I tried a couple of different times to relax my hair, and it just was not working out. And I said, you know what? I guess it's just not meant to be. I'm just going to have to work with what I have. And I've been natural ever since, whether it was a blowout natural or whether I wear it curly natural or a brush cut, which is generally how I wear my hair now. As you can see, I need a haircut. Because usually when I get on this podcast, I am taking my wave cap off. No need for one today because it's a little too puffy. But yeah, that's pretty much how the sum of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a spiritual journey or anything like that. It was just totally out of necessity and convenience.
Yeah, yeah. And that you would say that, and you sit here with your brush cut, and I got these little micro locks, and Jovonne has got her beautiful hair and I dream of Jeannie working for us today. A lot of times people will get into the debate of team natural or team relaxed. I am team convenience. Whatever works for me. Deanna, you mentioned working out. When I started my health journey, that was a battle for me. Hair or going to the gym, because it was either or, because there was no way getting the workout that I needed, that my scalp sweats tremendously. I mean, a lot. So my hair wasn't going to dry. I don't care if it was relaxed or natural. It wasn't going to dry, and I was going to have issues. So sometimes if I had and most of my clients would be in the morning or speaking engagements or traveling to a training to do a training, it would be in the morning. So even though I'm an early riser, get up at 5, I'm at the gym by 5:30, leave the gym 6:30, come home, shower, hit the road or wherever I need to be, my hair wouldn't be dry. So sometimes I have to make a choice, work out or not. And Jovonne, talk about we can get back into each one of us periodically, but what's your hair journey been like?
I'm with you as far as convenience. I've heard my entire life, oh, you have such good hair. Oh, your hair is just like your daddy's, or like the Wilsons. And okay, great. But it takes time to maintain it. It tangles. I break combs. I don't care how you look at it. It's very tight and hard for me to deal with. So I've chosen relaxers over the years. I'm with you, Dana, too. I've had the worst burns and everything over my lifetime. But as I became more knowledgeable, I found what worked for me. So I wear my own hair. I wear like today, this is a Velcroed ponytail.
Keeping it real.
I can't help but this is a ponytail that's Velcroed around my ponytail. My ponytail stops. It's right in here. My real ponytail's in here. So I have hair, hangs right about here, but I braided it up and I wrapped this Velcro ponytail around it. And hey, I'm out the door. I take it down every single night. I'm one of those, I grew up seeing hairstylists that just did not look like hairstylists. And if I had to sit in their chair, I was scared. And they were some of the best hairstylists, but they didn't look the part. So I'm like, as when I became a hairstylist, I'm going to always look the part. You're not going to question what I can do. You're going to say, I want to go to her just because, I'm ready. So every day I do something, whether it be a ponytail, whether it be hair piece, something. I rarely wear my own hair because it's not easy to curl, but I can, I set my hair on rollers, do whatever I want to do. I just like to blend in extra. But my hair journey has been really harsh because I grew up in a single parent home. My father, being an old country bumpkin, I like to call it, he did not believe in, making time for this young woman to get her hair done. So at 12, 13 years old, I'm getting picked on, joked on in school for having big balls of curls, just matted hair and so forth. My mom wasn't around. I didn't have the help until my mother's sister later on came in and assisted with my hair. But I would make lies up. I would say, Daddy, my hair's going to fall out if you don't give me $5 so I can go to Tower Mall and get a Dark and Lovely box relaxer. It's going to fall out. So he didn't want to see that. So he give me $5. I go to get Dark and Lovely relaxer, put it in my hair. And I was about 12 or 13. Didn't know what I was doing. Put the little plastic gloves in, ran that stuff through my hair. It would loosen my curl pattern so I can comb it better. So yes, my hair was wavy and curly, but it was so tangled. I had no idea how to maintain it. I didn't know about my ends being split, needing to be trimmed and cut off. I had no idea. So my journey has been kind of rough, but now at this phase, I'm all about convenience. Mm-hmm. What works for the moment, what I have to do, what my week looks like, if it's going to be raining, even though I'm relaxed, if it's raining, my hair will curl right back up, So it just depends on what my days, weeks look like. But it's been something else. It really has been.
I can identify in more ways than one. Like I said, the struggle my mom and I used to have with my hair, and then Jerry curls came out in the late 70s, early 80s. And I may have been one of the first 10, 11-year-olds sitting in the chair. Mm-hmm. my mom found hope in some Stay Soft Fro and some Curl Free. Mm-hmm. And a plastic bag that had your collar all juicy.
I wanted one, but my daddy wouldn't let me get one. So I
tell you,
the only one who did not have one.
Really, but it was nice too. It was cut low. I had the shag, and people would ask my mom, was it a wig? Why did she get? Because it was the truth.
It was so healthy and big.
Yes. And so then when Jovonne mentioned my aunt was instrumental in me going to the next phase, because Jerry curls began to be played out. Wasn't nobody wearing no curl. I was getting ready to start high school and I didn't want to curl, and I would spend some of my summer times in Portsmouth. And my aunt took me to Tower Mall, to Regis Beauty Salon. And that was the first of many different things. The first time I got a relaxer, and at the time, the best stylist in the shop was the first time I ever saw a transgender person. And that person happened to be deemed as the best person. their name was Jessica. Do you remember Jessica at Regis and Tyrone?
I heard the talk of Jessica, but I don't know. I was 9 years under you, so
Yes. So me and my cousin Devonna, rest in peace, Devonna, we my aunt took us to get our hair done by Jessica. And I mean, you came out and that hair was just swinging, bouncing and behaving down your back. And then we got into the 80s looks with the asymmetrical and all kind of stuff. I had the salt and pepper, I had the cut here. I would never went Halle Berry, but but it was just that I thought I was my hair.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was my hair because it was, then when I went to college, that was even more of a trendy thing. And then people started wearing weaves. That's when I first saw tracks. And I didn't need one, but it was trendy. And I'm going to tell you to this day why I only wore weave once in my life, other than one time Jovonne put a piece in for a photo shoot we had. I wore weave one time, and the girls, I was allergic to the glue.
Mm-hmm.
And when I put the glue in my hair, I had blisters all in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And what makes it so bad, before the allergic reaction was kind of slow, and I had moved the track all around my head. I had moved it over here and put it back for whatever look. So I had the allergic reaction was all over my whole scalp. So that was it. And I will tell you this, going into natural in 2012, it was never something I was like, I want to be team natural, or like Deanna said, a spiritual journey. I was curious, because I had not seen my natural hair texture since I was 10 or 11 years old. And I was just curious to see what it looked like. So I said, I'm just going to test and see what it looked like. And I got my last relaxer in 2012, and I just kept letting it go. That's when I found out I had 4 or 5 different textures. I had everything from, the kind that curl up when you wet it, to carpet right up in here somewhere. And so anyway, that was, I thought was going to be it. Until in 2017, 18, I began to deal with, as many people know, I have different autoimmune issues, and one of them was causing hair loss. And I began to deal with alopecia. Now, thank God my hair was thick enough that nobody hardly noticed. And I was able to manipulate it and cover certain areas, but it started getting worse. And I started having bald patches in my head. But thank God, after the testing that they did on my scalp, it wasn't permanent loss, which means it would grow back. But one thing the dermatologist and the doctor told me was that if I could do something not to manipulate my hair. And I came upon finding out about locks, of course. That's nothing new, but it was new for me because it wasn't anything I'd ever thought about. And so I didn't really care for the big locks on me, but I came upon sister locks and micro locks, and I began to do a price comparison, and here I sit. But that was even a journey for me because I didn't know. And when we talk about me, my hair, and I'm not my hair, but my hair is me, people treat you different sometimes based on whether they like or don't like your hair. There's some people that don't like this that I have. They didn't like when it was natural. I prefer when it was, and people can behave accordingly. Have y'all ever had those situations where people treated you differently based on your hairstyle or what they preferred you to wear?
I really hope you are enjoying one of our favorite sisternistas, Jovonne Cookie Jones. But you know what's not new to Jovonne? Cosmetology, makeup artistry, and so much more, because she's been at it for over 30 years as the sole owner of Flutterism Beauty Experience Salon and Cosmetics, located in Portsmouth, Virginia, USA. To contact Jovonne or to book an appointment, call 757-606-0222. Also, you can reach her at flutterism@gmail.com. That's flutterizm@gmail.com. And if you don't know what it means to be flutterized, let me tell you, it's when Jovonne takes you from nervous excitement to fearless confidence. I know I'm a witness. I've been flutterized. You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast.
Well, I'm going to tell you, the first person that I really had to run the test by and I guess it really wasn't a test, but it was the only person that I cared what they thought, was my husband.
Mm-hmm.
If I could get him on board, then I could care less what anybody else thought. Because I haven't been in corporate America for so long. Now it will be 15 years this year. I cannot believe it, but it'll be 15 years this year. So that was not a concern. But when I got my hair cut short I went to go get a haircut, and it was a little shorter than what I had anticipated it being. And I looked, and there was nothing. I'm not a person to wallow in things, because basically at the end of the day, it is what it is. It isn't like I could pick it up off the floor and put it back on my head. But I've been very fortunate in my life to, my hair grows very fast. So I just said, well, you know what? It'll be back, it'll grow back. It'll be back in a couple of weeks. And I remember sitting in my truck thinking, I'm not even sure why I'm even concerned about it growing back. Why do I even care? And I took a selfie that day at the stoplight of me after I left the salon, because I just had an epiphany. And I posted that selfie and I said, I'm over 40. I really don't care what anyone thinks. I really love myself. I like myself. I love myself. This is me. Yeah. And I think something happens when you become a woman of a certain age. Yeah. But it was still important, although I was perfectly fine with it, fine with it. So when I came home that day and Brian walked in the door, he walked in the door and he says, I see you got your hair cut today. And I said, mm-hmm. He says, oh, he went to his phone, he went to Instagram, and he showed me this picture of this Black chick who was so bad. She had waves that would make you seasick. And he says, wife, I think you could rock this. I think you could rock this. I said, you do? He says, yes. I said, I don't even know where to begin to look like this lady, because she was bad. And he says, I got you. I got you. My husband left the house, went to Target, bought me hair product, brush, and 2 wave caps.
Yay, Brian!
Me down in the chair and commenced to lathering, slicking, brushing, put that cap on. He says, now you just let that set for at least an hour. You need to set for at least an hour. And I think you're going to be straight. You're going to be straight. I took that wave cap off and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. He was like, babe, you good. You good. After I got his seal of approval, nobody or nothing else mattered at that time.
Deanna, when you say, first of all, shout out to Brian and all the men who support, because that was big. But how much of that, even though he's very supportive, how much of that do you think had to do with you being okay with it first at the stoplight?
No matter, I really still had to be okay with it.
Yes.
I had to come to terms with, my hair is really, really short. Because I think I kept it maybe an inch. It's not an inch now. But I at least kept an inch of length on my hair.
Yeah.
It just made it was like an extreme relief, because even though Brian and I have a great relationship, um, it was still important to me that he liked what he see every day.
Yeah.
You
And that's definitely understood, because when you're okay with it, then sometimes it teaches other people. When you're confident, even though that wasn't what you went in for initially, but once you became okay with it, you didn't walk in the house crying with your head hung low, whatever, and it gives other people something to work with, to compliment. Because I even know, it's something about having that support, because I know when I first got this particular process done, when you first get locks in, it's very thin and sparse. And I knew I had some spaces in my scalp that was still visible that had little bald patches. And so when I came home, and I initially tried to do it myself, going to YouTube University, and messed up. So when I had them professionally done and came home, it was just real stringy looking. And I was like, oh my God. And I had even had the stylist, Nikki Braids in Knightdale, North Carolina. I had her said, don't lock them, just twist them. Let me see if I can get used to it. When I came home, I was like, I think I may take them out, but I do like the freedom that I know I'm going to be able to have. And so when that support comes into play, when I came in the house, and Owen looked at me, he said, why you got a hat on? You just spent all day getting your hair done. And I said, because I don't know if I like it. He said, let me see it. He said, whoa, that's a lot of little twists. And I said, yeah. And I had read somebody say that one of the sentimental things to do about locks is have someone you love count them. But I didn't tell him that. And he said, how many of them is it? I said, I don't know. He said, let me count them. And I sat on the floor, and he sat on the couch. I was in between his knees, and he counted my locks. And that's how I know I have 304. And that support was there, but I had to be confident first. So whether it's your significant other or people in your life, whatever, you got to be confident with your hair, and know that even if it's a mistake, or if it isn't like you want, or isn't like somebody else's, that you are not your hair, but your hair is you. You bring the beauty to the hair, and not are controlled by the aesthetic. Jovonne, go, shoot.
Oh, girl, I'm all over the place. I'm listening to Deanna. I had, the total opposite. Years ago, I used to go to the Dominican salon, and my hair, like I said, overly curly. So I'm like, let me just go get them to blow it out. It'll be so Jessica bouncy, beautiful and all. But this one time I went, and I noticed my hair was really, really, it was gorgeous, just hanging all over my shoulders, free flowing. Actually, my cousin Courtney went with me. And, we were so excited about our hair because we didn't have relaxers. We had a nice Dominican blowout. And about maybe a day or two later, I started seeing so much hair, just shedding and shedding and shedding. And it's devastating just to see your hair just coming out. Every day. So as a stylist, I'm like, why is this happening? I had my girlfriend look at my hair. She was like, your hair is damaged, like heat damage. I was like, are you serious? It felt so soft still. I'm used to like a rougher feel, a texture. And she said, you might have to cut it off. You want me to just trim it up? I said, no, I'm good. So I just sort of put it in the ponytail, went home. I went in the bathroom. I took some clippers and I just shaved my head. Not ball, but about where Dina's is now. So I knew that as soon as I shampooed it, that it would curl up. I'm baby hair queen. I'll put some baby hair, some big hoops. I'll be fine. Well, when I walked out and my husband was there at the time, he just said, what the hell did you do? And why did you do that? I said, because you don't have to get up and do my hair every day. Thank you. And I kept on about my business. But I was hurt. I was just like, why would you cut your hair? All that pretty hair you had hanging out your back. Oh my God. And it took me back to a friend of ours who talked about her hair journey and how her husband was just so in love with her hair. When she cut her hair, it devastated him as well. So I thought about her situation. I was just like, well, this is the same, but not quite. But over time, I just stopped listening, but I kept hearing it over and over. Why'd you cut your hair? Why'd you cut all that hair? And I'm like, you don't understand. And I never really took the time to explain about the damage and everything else. So it was like month after month after month. Why don't you let your hair grow back? So I'm like, my word, I can't say, but I would, sir,
You can't say.
sir, you cannot snap some hair back just like that. Please let me be, So it just brought so much tension into our relationship as well as, other issues. And I'm like, I can't believe he's treating me differently. He didn't know it, but he's treating me differently all because of some hair. And I'm telling you, from that point on, I would just like, if you don't like, or if you treat me differently because of a hairstyle, sir, you do not deserve me. You don't deserve to be with me. If you have me feeling so low because of some hair, what if I had cancer? Or what if I dealt with alopecia areata or any other issue that brought about hair loss? I made a decision to take off damaged hair, what I considered was damaged hair. Now you're going to treat me differently. Look at me like I'm just funny looking when I knew I was just not. And I'm in the streets and everybody, oh, who cut your hair? Da, da, da. I'm hearing all these positive things. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So with all that said, I did not get Deanna's experience, but I began to learn more about what I liked, what was most convenient for me, what fit my lifestyle more. At the time I had little boys. Who had time for all of that stress, I say, with the hair, so I think I still made the best decision for me. It just wasn't received well, and we didn't communicate properly on that. So
Well, Jovonne, I can kind of relate, not in it was with my dad. That's why when he passed, I cut it because it was like I said, it was a true act of rebellion. Because that was like, for him, I guess in that generation, it was like the worst thing you could do.
Exactly.
That crown and glory, that was your glory. And if we came back with a cut that was too short, it was just not well received. So I did not know how he was going to receive it, but I thought, well, I'm already short. I mean, what's another inch?
Yeah, because it's like people, and we've expressed our relationships with men or partners or significant others, but also too, we have other relatives. I know that, and this is no shade. My mom didn't prefer my natural hair. She would always say, "What? When you gonna get it blowed out, Tracy? Not blowed out. When you gonna get it blowed out?" Because she said, "I like your hair straight." And some people only like what they're used to and what they like. And you have to rise up within yourself and say, you know what, I prefer this, or this works best for me now, and keep it moving, because I'm not my hair, but my hair is me. But I make my hair. My hair doesn't make me. So I'm still the same person, as Jovonne said. Man, what if it had been because of chemotherapy or some form of alopecia? How you gonna treat me? And then if my hair is such a distraction, or you feel it's the sum total of my being, I don't need you in my life anyway. In that way, you don't need to have that much influence in my life. Should I say, but we all battle as women when we say me, my hair, and I. That's also this eye, but it's also this eye. Well, I gotta like me. I gotta look in that mirror every day and love and like me. And you just get to benefit from my flavor. What do you think about that, Jovonne?
I agree totally. Because, if I decided to snatch this Velcro off right now and go shave my head, girl, I would swoop up something and leave out there and be just as confident. And you're going to like it because you like me, I don't know. I just have a different level of confidence now at this age than I had in my 20s, So
what would you tell your 20-year-old self? Because someone listening, even though our demographic is between ages 35 and 65, there may be someone listening, or maybe somebody in that demographic who may not have that level of confidence yet. What would you tell your younger self about your hair?
About my hair, or about the situation with that hair?
However you choose to answer it.
Well, I would say two things, in the situation that I had in my 20s, I would tell myself, please communicate. Effectively communicate this topic with someone that has no idea. There's someone that has alopecia and George Jefferson, and even though it's on the male side, he was dealing with his own baldness, and he didn't care. Sometimes he grow that stuff out, and I'm like, sir, cut it. So I had my own opinion. I had my own opinion about. Stop it, Tracy. Stop it. So I would tell my younger self to effectively communicate with your spouse and help him to understand your hair journey. Number 2, be as confident as my grandmother said to be. Hold your head up no matter what you have in your pocket, or how much of it you have. Hold your head up and know that God cannot create junk. So I would tell my younger self that very same thing, but I would still effectively get over to my spouse that this is my hair, and we're gonna experience some things with it, but I'm never gonna embarrass you. I'm never gonna misrepresent you or this family. Period. And end it and continue.
Wow.
Stop it,
I was listening, but that whole George Jefferson just threw me off. It threw me off. Deanna, without going George Jefferson, what would you tell your 20-year-olds?
Well, without going George Jefferson, which clearly speaks to the hypocrisy about women's hair and men's hair. Clearly speaks to the hypocrisy, but I digress. Is to be confident in whatever you decide. It's your decision. It's you who have to represent you, and it really only matters about you. And I am with you, Jovonne. I have been rocking this brush cut for about a year now, and let me tell you, I probably get more compliments on this do that I have, and I've had some tight do's than any other do that I've ever rocked in my life. And it's because I don't believe it's the haircut. It's
the confidence.
It is me, honey, all day with the lashes and the lipstick. I don't care if I don't have nothing else. It is. I am still going to look good. Now I had one daughter come to me. I have 2 daughters, and their hair, they going through the same thing, except all that sizzle stuff. I don't do all that stuff now. One daughter came to me and says, Mommy, I want you to grow your hair back. And it kind of took me aback. And I said, well, why do you want me to do that? Because their opinion is kind of, sort of important, but it was more important for me to figure out why and where this was coming from. And I said, are you ashamed of me? Do I embarrass you? Because I remember what it's like to be a teenager or a preteen in middle school, and I'm very active in my children's lives and present. So their friends and see me, their peers see me, and I really want to know, am I embarrassing you? And she says, oh no, mommy. I think you are beautiful. I just like your hair long. And that was that was that, because that was concerning. I never want to be appear to be an embarrassment to my children, but it was very relieving that it was just her preference. And everybody,
and I can appreciate you for even asking, because back in the day, you would have just you didn't dare even tell your mama that. If you didn't like it, you kept it to yourself. And then for you to have the conversation and ask her opinion, because, and we talk about me, my hair, and we talk about I'm not my hair, but my hair is me. We had just Jovonne and Deanna just give some advice to their 20-year-old selves. And I'm gonna say right now, you get to choose how people treat you. And you also get to choose not to let it be about anything outer, because how you treat yourself teaches everyone else how to treat you. So when it comes to me, myself, and I, and me, myself, and I, meaning other people who can see it, you are not your hair, but your hair is you, but you are more than your hair. So my sister nieces and sister niece lovers, I'm TracyMac. I thank my beautiful dynamic co-hosts, Jovonne Cookie Jones and Deanna Hamilton, for being with us on the BWWP. Remember, we give you VIP access into the lives of some of our favorite sister nieces, and these two ladies are two of my favorite. So much love and peace. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, brought to you in part by TracyMac Solutions for Life Institute, coaching and training services. No doubt you have enjoyed being in our world, and it doesn't have to stop here. Head on over to blackwomensworld.com. This is my personal invitation to you to stay connected with me on social media and more. I'd love to see you there, and I'm so grateful you came to be with me here. Invite someone else to join you in our queendom next time so they can feel the vibe of our tribe of sister niestas and sister niesta lovers too. Remember to be kind, be authentic, be generous, be excellent, be grateful, and while you're at it, go ahead and be extraordinary, because that's just what sister niestas do, on purpose, through mission, with passion and compassion. It's a Black woman's world, baby, and you, my sister niesta, are proof. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and your host, TracyMac. Wherever you are in the world, may you love and be loved by somebody. Peace.